Maya woke up to the taste of copper in her mouth and the feeling of silk sheets against her bare skin. Her head was pounding, her vision blurred, and when she tried to move her hand to her face, something wet and sticky came away on her fingers.
Blood.
So much blood. She bolted upright, and that's when she saw him. The body. A man in a suit, face down on the marble floor of what looked like an expensive bedroom, a pool of dark red spreading beneath him like spilled wine. Maya's heart stopped. She looked down at herself. Blood covered her hands, her arms, splattered across the white tank top she didn't remember putting on. "Good morning, JJ." The voice came from the doorway, calm and smooth as expensive whiskey. Maya's head snapped up. A man stood there, leaning against the frame with his arms crossed, watching her with dark eyes that held something between amusement and hunger. He was young, handsome in a sharp-edged way, wearing a perfectly tailored suit despite the early morning hour. "Ready to see what you really are?" Maya's hand flew to her hip, searching for a weapon that wasn't there. Her mind raced, trying to piece together fragments. The bar. The drink. A man's smile. Then nothing. Blackness. Now this. "Who the fuck are you?" she demanded, her voice hoarse. "What did you do to me?" The man pushed off the doorframe and walked into the room with the confidence of someone who owned everything in it, including her.
"I'm Min-jun Park.
"And I didn't do anything to you, Maya. You did this all by yourself." He gestured casually at the body.
Detective Kim Ji-sung.
34 years old. Married. 2 kids. You put 4 bullets in him last night. Don't you remember? Maya's blood turned to ice. She looked at the body again, at the blood on her hands, and felt her stomach lurch. "I didn't. I would never, wouldn't you?" Min-jun pulled out his phone, tapped the screen, and turned it toward her. A video played. Maya watched herself, or someone who looked exactly like her, standing in this same room, gun in hand, firing methodically at the detective as he begged for his life. The woman in the video's face was blank, mechanical, like a puppet going through motions. "You drugged me," Maya said, her voice shaking with rage and fear. "You set me up. I liberated you," Min-jun corrected, pocketing his phone. "From the illusion that you're anything other than what I needed you to be. A weapon. My weapon." He sat on the edge of the bed, too close, and Maya scrambled back against the headboard. "Here's what's going to happen, Maya. You're going to work for me. Exclusively. And you're going to do exactly what I say, when I say it, without question." "Go to hell," Maya spat. Min-jun smiled, and it was the most terrifying thing she'd ever seen. "I have 12 cameras in this room. Footage of you killing a decorated police detective. I have your fingerprints on the gun. I have your DNA all over this crime scene. One phone call, and you spend the rest of your life in a Korean prison. Or worse, you get the death penalty." Maya's mind raced, looking for exits, options, anything. "You can't keep me here forever." "I don't need forever," Min-jun said. "I just need you broken enough to accept your new reality." He stood, straightened his jacket. "My men will bring you breakfast.
Eat. Shower.
Make yourself comfortable. We have work to do tonight, and I need you sharp." He walked toward the door, then paused. "Oh, and Maya? Don't bother trying to escape. This building has 37 floors, and I own every single one. The city outside belongs to my family. You're in Seoul, and in Seoul, I'm God. If you're already hooked and you want to see how dark this gets, smash that subscribe button right now because this story is about to blow your mind." The door closed behind him, and Maya heard the lock click. She was alone with a dead body and the horrifying realization that she'd walked into a trap she never saw coming. She forced herself to breathe, to think. She was Maya Johnson, former Marine sniper, mercenary, survivor. She'd gotten out of worse situations than this. Except she hadn't. Not really. And the worst part, the part that made her skin crawl, was that she couldn't remember last night. Couldn't remember pulling the trigger. Couldn't remember the detective's face as he died. What if Min-jun was right? What if she really had done this? She stumbled to the bathroom, stripped off her bloody clothes, and stood under scalding water until her skin turned red. She needed to remember, needed to piece together what happened. She closed her eyes and reached back into the darkness of last night. The bar in Itaewon. She'd been there for a meet with a potential client. A simple job, or so the message had said. Good money for a clean kill. She'd arrived early, ordered a drink. Watched the door. Then a man had sat beside her. Not Min-jun, someone else. Older. He'd smiled, said something about her being even more beautiful than the photos. She'd asked what photos. He'd gestured to the bartender, and another drink had appeared. She'd been cautious, hadn't she? She always was. But she'd taken a sip. Just one. Then the room had started tilting, and the man's smile had grown wider. And then, nothing. Just the black. Maya slammed her fist against the tile wall. Rohypnol, probably. Or something stronger. She'd been drugged and delivered to Min-jun like a package.
But why?
Why go through this elaborate setup? Why not just hire her normally? Unless this was never about hiring her. The thought hit her like a physical blow. What if Min-jun had been planning this for weeks? Months? What if she'd been his target all along, not his contractor? She dried off, found fresh clothes laid out on the bed. Black tactical pants, a fitted t-shirt, boots that were somehow exactly her size. Min-jun had prepared for this. Known she'd wake up, known she'd shower, known she'd need clothes. He'd thought of everything, which meant he'd been watching her long before last night. The realization made her feel violated in a way worse than the drugging. How long had he been tracking her? Studying her? Learning her habits, her movements, her sizes? She dressed quickly and started searching the room. The windows were bulletproof glass, no way to break them. The door was solid steel with a digital lock. No visible cameras, but she knew they were there, hidden, watching. She found her phone on the nightstand, grabbed it.
Dead.
Of course it was. But when she pressed the power button, it lit up. Fully charged. Another message from Min-jun. He wanted her to have it. Wanted her to see that calling for help was pointless. She opened her contacts, scrolled to the only person who might be able to help. Marcus, her handler for the past 3 years. The man who'd connected her with clients and kept her off the radar of law enforcement across 4 continents. She typed quickly. Compromised.
Soul.
Need extraction. Emergency protocol. She hit send. The message failed. No signal. She tried again. Same result. The phone worked, but Min-jun was blocking all outgoing communications. She was completely isolated. A knock at the door made her jump. Breakfast, Miss Johnson. A woman's voice, accented but clear. The door opened, and a young woman in a server's uniform entered with a covered tray. She wouldn't meet Maya's eyes as she set it on the table by the window. Wait, Maya said. Please. You have to help me. I'm being held here against my will. The woman finally looked at her, and Maya saw pity in her eyes.
And fear.
Mr. Park says you're to eat everything. He'll know if you don't. Then she was gone, the door locking behind her again. Maya lifted the cover on the tray. Soup, rice, grilled fish, fruits. Exactly the kind of breakfast she'd order for herself if given the choice. Min-jun had studied her that closely. She wanted to refuse it, to throw it against the wall, but she was starving and she needed her strength. She ate methodically, forcing down every bite while her mind worked through possibilities. Escape routes, weapons, allies. She came up empty on all 3. Hours passed. The sun moved across the sky beyond her bulletproof prison. Maya did push-ups, sit-ups, anything to keep her body ready. She'd been trained for captivity, for resistance, for survival. But that training assumed enemies who wanted information or ransom. What did Min-jun want? Why keep her alive? Why frame her for murder instead of just killing her? The answer came as the sun was setting, painting the sky over Seoul in shades of blood orange. The door opened, and Min-jun entered, now dressed in dark tactical gear similar to hers. He tossed something onto the bed. A gun. Her gun, the custom SIG Sauer she'd used for 3 years. Get ready, he said. We have a job tonight. Maya stared at the gun, then at him. You think I'm going to work for you? I think you're going to do exactly what I say, or Detective Kim's murder gets pinned on you with enough evidence to convince the International Criminal Court. Min-jun's voice was casual, conversational. But that's not the only reason you'll cooperate. He pulled out his phone again, showed her another video. This one made her blood freeze. It was footage of her apartment in Manila. Inside her apartment, her neighbor, Mrs. Santos, the elderly woman who fed Maya's cat when she was on jobs. The old woman was tied to a chair, terrified, as armed men stood around her. You have 30 seconds to decide, Min-jun said. Come with me willingly and do the job, or I give the order, and Mrs. Santos dies screaming. Your choice, JJ. Maya's hands clenched into fists. She wanted to launch herself at Min-jun, to fight, to make him hurt. But she'd seen enough in her career to know when she was outmatched. He had all the leverage, all the power. All she had was rage and the desperate need to survive long enough to turn this around. What's the job? She asked, her voice cold. Min-jun smiled, and this time it reached his eyes. That's my girl. We're going to kill a prosecutor. Woman named Min-jun. She's been investigating my family's business interests, and she's getting too close to information that could complicate things. You're going to make it look like a robbery gone wrong. Why do you need me? Maya demanded. You clearly have plenty of men who could do this. Because I don't want men, Min-jun said, stepping closer. I want you. I've been watching you for 6 months, Maya. Studying every job you've taken, every kill you've made, every move you've executed with that beautiful, deadly precision. You're perfect, and I don't settle for anything less than perfect. He reached out, and before Maya could react, he traced a finger down her cheek. She jerked back, but not before she felt the electric shock of the touch. Don't touch me, she hissed. I'll touch whatever belongs to me, Min-jun replied. And as of last night, you belong to me. The sooner you accept that, the easier this becomes. Maya grabbed the gun from the bed, checked the magazine. Fully loaded. She could shoot him right now. End this. But the men outside the door, the leverage he had, Mrs. Santos tied to a chair in Manila, it all kept her finger off the trigger.
For now.
Let's get this over with, she said.
Min-jun smilewidened.
That's what I like to hear. But first, a few ground rules. You don't speak unless spoken to. You don't question my orders. You don't try to run or signal for help. Any deviation and people you care about start dying. Understand? Maya met his eyes, let him see the hatred burning there. Crystal clear. Good, Min-jun said. Then let's go show Seoul what happens when people cross the Park family. The prosecutor lived in a high-rise in Gangnam, the kind of building where security was tight and residents paid for the illusion of safety. Min-jun's team moved like shadows, disabling cameras, bypassing locks, clearing a path for Maya and Min-jun to reach the 23rd floor undetected. Maya moved on autopilot, her training overriding her screaming conscience. She'd killed before. Bad people, mostly. Arms dealers, war criminals, cartel leaders. But a prosecutor? Someone fighting corruption? This was different. This was wrong. And Min-jun knew it. That's why he'd chosen this job for her first. He was testing her, breaking her, seeing if she'd cross lines she'd never crossed before. They reached the prosecutor's door. Min-jun handed Maya a lockpick set. You're up. Maya worked the lock in under 30 seconds, muscle memory taking over. The door swung open silently. Inside, the apartment was dark, quiet. They moved through it carefully. Living room.
Kitchen. Hallway.
The bedroom door was closed. Maya's hand tightened on her gun. Behind that door was a woman who'd done nothing wrong except her job. A woman with family, friends, a life. Min-jun leaned close to Maya's ear, his breath hot against her neck. Open the door. Wake her up. I want her to see you before she dies. I want her last thought to be the face of the woman who killed her. Maya's stomach turned. You're a monster. And you're about to become one too, Min-jun whispered. Welcome to the family, Jae-jae. Maya wanted to refuse. Wanted to turn the gun on Min-jun instead. But she thought of Mrs. Santos, thought of the video, thought of all the leverage Min-jun had. She was trapped. Completely trapped. She reached for the door handle. It opened before she could touch it. Prosecutor Yoon Mi-sun stood there, fully dressed, holding a phone. I've been expecting you, she said calmly, then looked past Maya to Min-jun. Hello, Min-jun. Still sending others to do your dirty work, I see. Everything happened at once. Yoon raised her phone, and Maya saw it wasn't a phone at all but a panic button. Alarms shrieked through the building.
Min-jun cursed, grabbed Maya's arm.
Kill her.
Now.
But Yoon was already moving, diving back into her bedroom, and Maya heard a lock engage. She's barricaded herself, Maya said. We need to go before nothing.
Min-jun snarled.
He pulled his own gun, fired 3 shots into the bedroom door. Wood splintered. Get in there and finish this. Maya heard sirens in the distance. Police response in Gangnam was fast, maybe 3 minutes. They had less than 2 before this building was swarming with cops. She made a split-second decision. She kicked the damaged door, and it gave way. Inside, Yoon was climbing out the window onto a fire escape. Maya raised her gun, aimed at the prosecutor's back. Easy shot.
Clean.
Simple. Her finger touched the trigger. And then she adjusted her aim and fired into the wall beside Yoon's head. The prosecutor screamed, lost her grip, and grabbed the fire escape railing at the last second. Maya lowered her gun. She's escaping. We need to go. Min-jun stared at her, and for the first time, she saw something like rage crack through his composed facade. You missed. It's dark. She was moving. It happens. Maya met his gaze without flinching. Now can we leave before we both get arrested? Min-jun grabbed her throat, slammed her against the wall. His face was inches from hers, fury burning in his eyes. You deliberately missed. You disobeyed me. Maya couldn't breathe, clawed at his hand. I took the shot. Not my fault she got lucky. The sirens were getting louder. Min-jun's men appeared in the doorway. Boss, we need to move. Now. Min-jun held Maya's throat for 3 more seconds, then released her. This isn't over. They ran. Down the fire escape on the opposite side, through a basement parking garage, into a waiting van. As they sped away, Maya saw police cars screaming towards the building. Prosecutor Yoon would survive. She has failed Min-jun's test, and now she'd pay for it. The van took them back to Min-jun's building. He didn't speak during the drive, just stared at Maya with that cold, calculating expression. When they arrived, he grabbed her arm and hauled her out, dragging her past his men, into an elevator that went down instead of up. Basement levels. Sub-basement. Places that didn't appear on building schematics. The elevator stopped, and the doors opened onto a concrete corridor lit by harsh fluorescent lights. Where are we going? Maya demanded. Min-jun didn't answer, just pulled her forward. They passed heavy steel doors, each with a small window. Maya glanced through one and immediately wished she hadn't. A man hung from chains, beaten bloody, barely conscious. The Park family has been in Seoul for 4 generations, Min-jun said conversationally, as if they were touring a museum instead of a torture facility. We've learned that power requires consequences. That betrayal must be answered. That weakness must be eliminated. He stopped at a door at the end of the corridor, pulled out a key and opened it. Inside was a small room with a single chair. And sitting in that chair, bound and gagged, was Mrs. Santos. Maya's heart stopped.
No.
No, you said. I said I wouldn't kill her if you cooperated. Min-jun finished. You didn't cooperate. You deliberately missed your shot. You failed your test. He pulled out a gun, offered it to Maya. So now you have a choice. Shoot her yourself. Prove to me that you understand the consequences of disobedience. Or refuse and watch me torture her for the next 72 hours before I kill her anyway. Maya stared at the gun, at Mrs. Santos's terrified eyes, at Min-jun's cold expression. This was it. The moment where she either broke completely or found a way to fight back. She took the gun. Min-jun smiled. Good girl. Maya turned towards Mrs. Santos, raised the gun. The old woman closed her eyes, tears screaming down her face, and Maya spun, firing at Min-jun instead. 3 shots, center mass, exactly how she'd been trained.
Min-jun staggered back.
The bullets hit him square in the chest. He should have been dead, but he wasn't. He was laughing. He unzipped his jacket and showed her the bulletproof vest underneath. Did you really think I wouldn't prepare for this? He moved faster than Maya could react, disarmed her, and slammed her against the wall. You keep making the wrong choices, JJ, but that's okay. I have time to teach you. He dragged her out of the room, leaving Mrs. Santos alive but terrified. Back in the elevator. Back up to the penthouse. Min-jun threw Maya into the bedroom where she'd woken up that morning, the dead detective's body now gone but the bloodstains still visible on the marble floor. You want to know why I chose you? Min-jun asked, circling her like a predator. It wasn't just your skills. It wasn't just your record. It was this. He pointed at her. This fire. This resistance. Most people break immediately. But you keep fighting even when you know you can't win. It's beautiful. Intoxicating. It makes me want to break you even more. You're insane, Maya said.
I'm obsessed, Min-jun corrected.
There's a difference. He moved closer, and despite everything, despite the horror and the rage, Maya felt her body respond to his proximity. It was sick. It was wrong. But it was there. A dark pull between predator and prey, captor and captive. I've been alone for a long time, Min-jun said quietly. Running my family's empire, surrounded by people who fear me or want something from me. No one sees me, Maya. They see the Park family heir. The crime lord. The monster. But you see exactly what I am, and you're not afraid to hate me for it. That honesty is rare. So, what, you're going to keep me here forever? Force me to kill for you until I become whatever twisted thing you want me to be. Maya's voice shook with fury. No, Min-jun said. I'm going to show you that you already are that twisted thing. You've been killing for money for years, telling yourself you have standards, that you only target bad people. But who decides what makes someone bad enough to die, Maya? You? You're not judge, jury, and executioner. You're just a weapon that's been lying to itself about what it really is. He was close now. Too close, and Maya could feel the heat radiating off him. Here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow night you have another job. And this time, you won't miss. You won't hesitate. You'll do exactly what I say, because you'll have accepted that this is who you are now.
Mine.
I'll never be yours, Maya said, but even she could hear the weakness in her voice. Min-jun smiled, reached up, and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. The gesture was tender, intimate, completely at odds with everything else. We'll see, Jae-jae. We'll see. If you're wondering how Maya is going to survive this nightmare, hit that like button and drop a comment telling me what you do in her situation, because trust me, it's about to get so much worse. Maya didn't sleep that night. She sat on the bed, back against the headboard, watching the door and running through every possible escape scenario in her mind. They all ended the same way, with leverage she didn't have and people she cared about dying. Min-jun had built a perfect cage. But every cage had a weakness. She just had to find it. At dawn, the door opened. Not Min-jun this time, but a woman. Mid-30s, beautiful, dressed in expensive business attire. She carried a tablet and had the cool, professional demeanor of someone who'd seen terrible things and learned to compartmentalize. I'm Park Ji-won, she said. Min-jun's executive assistant. I'm here to brief you on tonight's operation. Maya didn't move. I'm not doing another job for him. Ji-won's expression didn't change. Yes, you are. Because if you don't, Mrs. Santos dies. And then we move to the next person on your list. Your former handler, Marcus. Your contact in Manila, who forged your documents. The bartender in Lagos who lets you use his back room for meetings. Min-jun has compiled a comprehensive file on everyone you've ever cared about or worked with. They all die one by one, until you cooperate. She set the tablet on the bed. Or you can do the job, and they all stay safe. Your choice. Maya grabbed the tablet, looked at the file. A man named Lee Sung-ho. Mid-level accountant for a tech company.
Married.
One daughter. No criminal record, no obvious connections to anything illegal. Who is he? Maya asked. Someone who saw something he shouldn't have. Ji-won replied. Details of a transaction between the Park family and a Japanese Yakuza clan. He's been cooperating with prosecutors, providing documentation. He dies tonight, and the case against us collapses. He's a witness. An innocent civilian. No one is innocent in Seoul, Ji-won said flatly. Everyone makes compromises to survive. Lee Sung-ho chose to cooperate with prosecutors instead of taking the money we offered him to stay quiet. He chose poorly. Maya wanted to throw the tablet across the room. Why does Min-jun need me for this? Why not just use one of his own men? Because breaking you is more important to him than the actual kill, Ji-won said, and for the first time, something like sympathy crossed her face. I've worked for the Park family for 8 years. I've seen Min-jun obsess over business rivals, over territory, over money. But I've never seen him obsess over a person the way he obsesses over you. It's concerning. Why are you telling me this? Maya asked. Ji-won moved to the door, paused. Because I think you might be the first person who could actually hurt him. And maybe the Park family needs that. Maybe we all need someone who can make Min-jun feel something other than cold calculation. She left, and Maya was alone with the target file.
Lee Sung-ho.
Accountant. Father. Witness. Dead man walking unless Maya found a way to save him. She spent the day planning. Not how to kill Lee, but how to fake it. How to make Min-jun think the job was done while getting Lee to safety. It was risky. If Min-jun found out, the consequences would be catastrophic. But Maya was done being a passive victim. If she was going to survive this, she needed to start fighting back smart. That evening, Min-jun came for her personally. He looked different. Less composed. There was an edge to him, a tension that hadn't been there before. You're quiet today, he observed. Thinking about tonight? Thinking about how I'm going to kill you, Maya replied. Min-jun laughed, genuine amusement in his voice. There she is. I was worried you might have given up. He moved closer, and Maya forced herself not to retreat. I want to show you something before we go. He pulled out his phone, showed her a video. It was surveillance footage from inside a nightclub. Maya recognized it immediately, the Club Paradise in Manila, where she'd been 3 months ago. But this footage showed something she didn't remember.
Her at the bar, talking to a man.
Laughing, leaning close, then leaving with him. That's Park Jin-soo, Min-jun said. My younger brother. You met him in Manila, spent 3 hours talking to him, went back to his hotel. You don't remember because he drugged your drink, just like I had done to you here. He was supposed to bring you to Seoul, deliver you to me. But Jin-soo got greedy. Started thinking he could keep you for himself, use you to build his own power base separate from the family. Maya's blood ran cold. What happened to him? Min-jun's expression went dark. I killed him. My own brother. Because he touched what was mine. The casual admission hung in the air. Maya stared at him, seeing the depth of his obsession for the first time. You killed your brother over me? I killed my brother because he betrayed family, Min-jun corrected. But yes, you were the catalyst. And, do you know what I felt when I pulled the trigger? Relief. Because it meant no one else would try to take you from me. He grabbed her chin, forced her to meet his eyes. You're mine, Maya. I burned my own blood to prove it. What do you think I'll do to anyone else who gets between us? Maya jerked away from his grip. We're not in us. You're a psychopath holding me hostage. Keep telling yourself that, Min-jun said. But I've seen the way you look at me.
Hate, yes.
Anger, definitely. But also something else. Recognition. You see yourself in me, Jae-jae. The darkness. The capacity for violence. The understanding that the world is just predators and prey, and we're the predators. He was right, and Maya hated him for it. Hated that she understood him. Hated that some twisted part of her responded to his honesty about what they both were. Let's go, she said. Let's get this over with. The job was supposed to be simple. Lee Sung-ho would be leaving his office building at 8 p.m. Maya would take him out in the parking garage, make it look like a mugging gone wrong.
Clean. Quick.
Untraceable. But when they arrived at the location, Maya immediately saw the problem. Lee wasn't alone. His daughter, maybe 7 years old, was with him. School bag on her back, holding her father's hand. Min-jun saw it too. Complications, he muttered. Do we abort? Maya asked, hoping he'll say yes. No, Min-jun said. We adapt. Take them both. Maya's heart stopped. Both? You want me to kill a child? I want you to eliminate all witnesses, Min-jun corrected. The daughter saw her father talking to prosecutors. She's heard conversations. She's a liability. She's 7 years old. She's a problem, Min-jun said coldly. And problems get solved. You have 60 seconds to decide, Maya. Take the shot, both of them, or I make a phone call and Mrs. Santos dies while you watch on video. Maya looked at Lee and his daughter through the scope of her rifle. They were laughing about something, the girl animated, telling a story. A father and daughter, just living their lives, not knowing that death was watching from across the street. Maya's finger touched the trigger. She could do it. Could pull twice, end both lives. Prove to Min-jun that she was exactly the monster he wanted her to be. Or she could refuse, accept the consequences, and try to find another way. The seconds ticked down. 50.
40.
30. Maya made her choice. She fired. The shot echoed through the parking garage. Lee Sung-ho went down, clutching his leg. Not a kill shot. A wound. The daughter screamed. People started running, shouting. Chaos erupted. What are you doing?
Min-jun snarled.
Finish them. Maya was already moving. She broke down the rifle, grabbed her gear and ran. Not away from the garage but toward it. She heard Min-jun cursing behind her, heard his footsteps following. She had maybe 30 seconds before his men cut off all exits. She burst into the parking garage at ground level, saw Lee crawling toward his daughter, trying to shield her with his body. Maya ran to them, and Lee's eyes went wide with terror. Please, not my daughter, please. Shut up and listen, Maya said quickly. She pulled out a card, pressed it into his bloody hand. Detective Park Ji-hoon, National Intelligence Service.
Call him.
Tell him Min-jun Park sent someone to kill you. Tell him everything you know. This is your only chance. Lee stared at her, confused. You shot me. I missed your femoral artery by half an inch, Maya said. You'll live, but you need to run.
Right now.
Get your daughter, and run before he sends someone else. She heard Min-jun's men entering the garage. Go. Lee struggled to his feet, grabbed his daughter, and limped toward the exit where bystanders were gathering, safety in numbers. Maya turned to face Min-jun as he emerged from the stairwell, his men flanking him. You just made a very big mistake, Min-jun said quietly. Maybe, Maya replied. But I'm done killing innocent people for you. Min-jun pulled his gun. For a moment, Maya thought he'd shoot her right there. Instead, he lowered it. You're testing me.
Pushing boundaries.
Trying to see how far you can go before I break. He walked closer. I should kill you for this. Should make an example. But you know what? I'm going to do something worse. He gestured to his men. They grabbed Maya, zip-tied her hands. You want to save people? Want to be a hero? Let me show you what heroism costs. They dragged her back to the van, threw her inside. As they drove through Seoul's nighttime streets, Min-jun sat across from her. I've been patient with you. Understanding. I've explained my reasons, given you chances. But you keep choosing wrong. So now I'm going to show you something that will change your perspective. What could you possibly show me that would make me want to work for you? Maya demanded.
Min-jun smiled.
The truth about the people you think you're protecting. The truth about Detective Park Ji-hoon. The truth about why I've been targeting specific people. And the truth about your precious handler, Marcus. They arrived at another Park family building, this one in a warehouse district. Industrial. Isolated. Perfect for things you didn't want anyone to see. Min-jun led Maya inside, through corridors lined with shipping containers, down to a basement level that smelled of salt water and decay. He stopped at a heavy door, unlocked it. After you, he said. Maya stepped inside and froze. The room was full of monitors, computers, surveillance equipment. And on the screens were faces she recognized.
Marcus, Herr Händler.
Detective Park Ji-hoon. Prosecutor Yoon Mi-sun. And dozens of others. All connected by lines, dates, transaction records. What is this? Maya asked. This is the real game, Min-jun said. The one you stumbled into without knowing the rules. Marcus has been working for the Park family for 2 years, Maya. Every job he gave you, every target, they were all people who threatened our operations. He sold you to us long before I decided I wanted to keep you. The words hit like a physical blow. You're lying. Am I? Min-jun pulled up files, showed her bank records. Money flowing from Park family accounts to Marcus. Emails discussing the American asset and where to deploy her. Photos of Maya on jobs, taken from angles that only someone with advanced knowledge could have achieved. He's been selling your location, your methods, your weaknesses to us for years. How else do you think I knew exactly how to trap you? Marcus gave me everything. Maya felt sick. Why would he? Money. Why else? We pay better than any of your legitimate clients. Min-jun closed the files.
And Ji-hoon?
The detective you think is some righteous hero? He's been on my family's payroll for 6 months. We needed someone inside the investigation to feed us information, to warn us when things got too hot. Ji-hoon took the deal.
Took the money.
Betrayed his own partner, who actually was a hero, and is now dead because of it. I don't believe you, Maya said, but her voice lacked conviction. Check for yourself, Min-jun offered, gesturing to the computers. Every transaction. Every communication. Every betrayal. It's all here. The world you thought you were living in, where there were good guys and bad guys, heroes and villains, it doesn't exist. There's just people making deals, Maya. Choosing survival over principles. Choosing money over loyalty. Everyone is corrupt. Everyone is compromised. The only difference is that I'm honest about it. Maya spent 3 hours going through the files, and with each document, each transaction, each piece of evidence, her world collapsed further. Marcus had betrayed her. Completely. Sold her out to the Park family, pocketed hundreds of thousands of dollars while feeding her to wolves. Detective Ji-hoon wasn't investigating the Park family, he was protecting them. The prosecutor who'd survived the assassination attempt? She was being blackmailed by the Parks, feeding them case information in exchange for her sister's safety. Every person Maya had thought might help her was either dead, compromised, or working for Min-jun. She was alone. Truly, completely alone. Min-jun watched her realize this, standing in the doorway, with his arms crossed. Now you understand, he said quietly. There's no rescue coming. No hero swooping in to save you. Just you and me, and the choice you have to make. Maya looked up at him, and for the first time since waking up in that blood-soaked bedroom, she felt something shift inside her. Not surrender, exactly. Something darker. Colder. What choice? She asked. Keep fighting me. Keep believing in illusions that don't exist, and watch everyone you've ever cared about die knowing their deaths meant nothing, Min-jun said. Or accept reality. Accept what you are. Accept what we could be together. He moved into the room, and this time Maya didn't tense when he approached. I'm not asking you to love me, Maya. I'm not even asking you to like me. I'm asking you to be honest. To stop pretending you're anything other than what I already know you are. A weapon that thinks. A killer with a conscience that gets people hurt. A woman who's been alone so long she's forgotten what it feels like to be seen. You don't see me, Maya said. You see a possession. Something to own. I see someone exactly like me, Min-jun corrected. He knelt in front of her, meeting her eyes. Someone broken by the people who were supposed to protect them. Someone who learned that trust is a weakness and survival requires cruelty. Someone who's tired of carrying the weight of trying to be good in a world that punishes goodness. His hand came up, cupped her face. Let me carry that weight with you. Stop fighting alone. Stop pretending the world makes sense. Just be what you are. With me. Maya should have pulled away. Should have spit in his face. Should have remembered Mrs. Santos tied to a chair, Lee Sung-ho bleeding in a parking garage, all the people Min-jun had hurt to get to her. But she was so tired. So incredibly tired of running, of lying to herself, of pretending she wasn't exactly what he said she was. A killer. A weapon. A woman who'd been alone in the dark for so long she'd forgotten what light looked like. If I do this, Maya said slowly, if I stop fighting you, what happens to the people you're holding over me? Mrs. Santos, Lee, everyone. They go free, Min-jun said immediately. I don't need leverage anymore if you're with me willingly. They're only insurance against your resistance. Give me your loyalty, and they're meaningless. And if I betray you? Maya asked. If I'm lying right now, playing along until I find a way to destroy you? Min-jun smiled, and it was genuine. Then you'll have earned my respect, and we'll finally be on equal footing. Either way, JJ, I win. I either get the partner I've been searching for, or I get the worthy opponent I've been craving. Both options are intoxicating. Maya reached up, pulled his hand away from her face. I need time.
To process this.
To adjust. No more locked rooms, Min-jun said, standing. You want time, you have it. Full access to the building, to resources, to information. Prove to me you're considering this seriously, and I'll prove to you I meant what I said about partnership. He cut the zip ties on her wrists.
But Maya?
If you run, if you try to contact anyone, if you do anything that makes me think you're not genuine, everyone dies. And then I'll hunt you to the ends of the earth just for the pleasure of breaking you properly. If you're still watching this, drop a comment telling me if Maya should embrace the darkness or keep fighting, because what happens in these next 6 months will change everything. The days blurred together. Min-jun kept his word. Maya had freedom within the building, access to files, resources, even weapons. She told herself she was looking for weaknesses, escape routes, ways to bring him down. But slowly, insidiously, she started to understand him. Started to see the logic in his cruelty, the reasoning behind his obsession. The Park family empire was built on blood and compromise. Everyone who worked for them had made choices, accepted money, looked the other way. There were no innocents, just people who'd found their price. And Maya had to admit, she'd found hers years ago. She'd killed for money, justified it with weak excuses about only targeting bad people. But who was she to judge? She'd murdered a man for selling weapons when she'd been doing the same thing, just with her body as the weapon instead of guns. Min-jun was right. She was a hypocrite. They all were. She started accompanying him on business meetings. Watching him negotiate, threaten, manipulate. He was brilliant at it, reading people, finding pressure points, exploiting weaknesses. And he was never unnecessarily cruel. He offered deals first, violence only when deals failed. It was almost professional. One night, 3 weeks into her captivity that no longer felt like captivity, Min-jun came to her room. Not the bedroom where she'd woken up with blood on her hands, but the suite he'd moved her to. Luxurious. Comfortable. A gilded cage she'd stopped noticing was a cage. I have something for you, he said, handing her a phone. Her phone. Unlocked. Full signal. Call Marcus if you want, or Ji-hoon. Or anyone else on your contact list. Confirm what I showed you. Hear their lies in real time. Maya took the phone, stared at Marcus's contact. She could call him. Could hear him try to explain, to justify. But what would be the point? She already knew the truth. She'd seen the evidence, the transactions, the emails. Marcus had sold her. Everyone had sold her. Everyone except the man standing in front of her, the one who'd been brutally honest from the beginning about what he wanted and why. I don't need to call, she said quietly.
Good, Min-jun replied.
Because tonight, we have real work to do. Not a test. Not a loyalty check. Actual business that requires someone I trust. You trust me? Maya asked. I'm starting to, Min-jun said. Which is either growth or stupidity. We'll find out which. The job was a negotiation gone wrong. A Yakuza lieutenant who'd been skimming money from a joint operation between the Park family and his bosses. He'd gone into hiding when the theft was discovered, and both families wanted him found. Not killed, necessarily. Brought in for questioning, accounting. Then maybe killed, depending on what he revealed. Maya and Min-jun tracked him to a love hotel in Itaewon. They went in together, no backup, just the two of them. The lieutenant, a man named Tanaka, was in room 304 with 2 bodyguards. Min-jun kicked the door in, and Maya was moving before conscious thought. 2 shots, both bodyguards down. Not dead, but incapacitated. Tanaka reached for a gun, and Maya was on him, disarming him, forcing him to his knees. Wait. Tanaka gasped. I can explain, Explain to your bosses, Min-jun said coldly. We're just the delivery service. They zip-tied Tanaka, hauled him to their car. As they drove to the handoff location, a warehouse in Buchin, Maya felt something she hadn't felt in weeks. Purpose. Clarity. She'd worked with a partner, trusted him to watch her back, and he'd done the same. It felt right. The handoff went smoothly. The Yakuza took Tanaka, paid the Park family a finder's fee, and everyone left satisfied. As they drove back to Seoul, Min-jun looked at Maya. You were perfect tonight. Precise, professional, exactly what I needed. It felt good, Maya admitted. Working with someone instead of alone. We could do more of it, Min-jun said. If you're ready to stop pretending this is temporary. Maya was quiet for a long time. What would that look like? Partnership? We run operations together. You handle the tactical side, I handle the business side. We rebuild the family empire smarter, cleaner, more efficiently. We eliminate the trafficking, focus on gambling, money laundering, weapons, things that don't involve, well, selling people.
Min-jun glanced ahead.
I know you hated my sister's operation. I did too, honestly. It was profitable but messy. Ethically complicated in ways that made business harder. We phase it out, replace it with ventures you can stomach. You'd do that? Maya asked. Change your entire business model for me? I do it because it makes sense, Min-jun said. But yes, also for you. Because having you as a real partner is worth more than any single revenue stream. He pulled the car over, turned to face her fully. I'm obsessed with you, Maya. I won't lie about that. But obsession doesn't mean I'm blind. You're brilliant, dangerous, capable of things no one else in my organization could manage. With you beside me, we could build something bigger than what my family has now. Something that lasts. Maya looked at him, really looked at him. Saw the obsession, yes. The darkness. The capacity for cruelty. But also the loneliness, the desperate need to be understood, the twisted logic that made sense from inside his world. And she saw herself reflected back. The same loneliness. The same darkness. The same desperation for something real in a world of lies. If I do this, she said slowly, if I become your partner, you release everyone. Mrs. Santos, Lee, everyone you've been holding over me. They go free with money and protection to disappear. Done, Min-jun said immediately. What else? I want access to everything. All files, all operations, all decision-making. Real partnership, not me as your attack dog. You'll have it, Min-jun agreed. Anything else? Maya reached over, pulled him close, and kissed him. It was violent, angry, full of all the rage and pain and twisted understanding between them. When she pulled back, Min-jun's eyes were wide. I want honesty, Maya said. Always. No more games. No more tests. You want me as your partner, then treat me like one. Equals, or this doesn't work. Equals, Min-jun agreed, his voice rough. I can do that. They went back to the building, and for the first time, Maya didn't feel like a prisoner. She felt like something worse. Someone who'd stopped fighting the monster and started becoming one herself. 6 months passed. Maya integrated into the Park family operations completely. She eliminated enemies, negotiated deals, rebuilt entire sections of the business. And true to his word, Min-jun released everyone. Mrs. Santos got a new identity and enough money to retire in comfort. Lee Sung-ho and his daughter disappeared into witness protection. The leverage was gone, but Maya stayed anyway. Because she'd discovered something terrifying. She was good at this. Better than good. Exceptional. With Min-jun's resources and her skills, they were unstoppable. The trafficking operations shut down, replaced with high-end gambling and arms deals that Maya could justify. They were criminals, yes, but they had standards now. Lines they wouldn't cross. It was almost respectable, in a twisted way. And somewhere in those 6 months, the hate she'd felt for Min-jun transformed into something else. Not love, exactly, but understanding.
Partnership.
A connection forged in darkness that neither of them could break, even if they wanted to. They were equals now. Predators hunting together. Until the night everything changed. Maya was reviewing shipping manifests when Ji-won came to her office, her face pale. "We have a problem," she said. "Min-jun's father is back." Maya looked up. "I thought he was dead." "So did we," Ji-won said grimly. "But he just walked into the building with 10 men and a lawyer. He's reclaiming control of the family. And his first order is to eliminate you." Maya stood slowly. "Where's Min-jun?" "Meeting with his father now. In the basement conference room." Maya grabbed her gun, but Ji-won stopped her. "Min-jun said to wait. Said he'd handle it. Said."
She paused.
"Said that you're his weakness now, and his father will use that." Maya understood immediately. Min-jun's obsession with her, his partnership with her, it had made him vulnerable. His father saw it, would exploit it, would force Min-jun to choose between family loyalty and whatever this was between them. She went to the basement anyway, stood outside the conference room door listening. "She's made you weak," Min-jun's father was saying. "This American woman, this killer you've brought into our family. She's clouded your judgment, changed our operations to suit her morals. We've lost millions in revenue because you wanted to impress her. We've gained stability," Min-jun countered. "Reduced law enforcement attention. Streamlined." "You've gone soft," his father interrupted. "And soft men don't lead this family. So, here's what happens. You kill her. Tonight. Personally. Prove to me you still have the strength to do what's necessary. Or I remove you from leadership and do it myself." Silence. Maya's hand tightened on her gun. This was it. The moment Min-jun would have to choose. And she knew, with cold certainty, what he should choose. Family. Legacy. Power. Everything he'd built his life around. Everything that mattered more than one woman. The door opened. Min-jun stood there, and behind him, Maya saw his father, older, harder, more ruthless than his son. "Well," his father demanded. "What's your answer?" Min-jun looked at Maya, and she saw the calculation in his eyes. The weighing of options. The cost-benefit analysis of keeping her versus maintaining his position. She raised her gun, not at him, but at his father. "I choose me," she said quietly. And fired. Min-jun's father went down, the bullet catching him in the shoulder. His men reached for weapons, but Maya was faster. 3 more shots, 3 men down. Non-lethal, all of them, but enough to create chaos.
Min-jun zerrte her, stunned.
"What did you just do?" "I chose us," Maya said. "Over everything else. Now you choose." Min-jun looked at his father, bleeding on the floor, at his men scrambling for cover, at Maya standing there with a gun and a choice laid bare between them.
And he chose.
He grabbed Maya's hand, and they ran. Out of the building, into a car, speeding through Seoul as Min-jun's phone exploded with calls and messages. His family would hunt them now. Both of them. They'd burned every bridge, destroyed every alliance, chosen each other over the empire that had defined their entire lives. "Where do we go?" Maya asked as they drove. "I don't know," Min-jun admitted.
Away.
"Anywhere. Start over." "With what money? What resources?" "With each other," Min-jun said, and for the first time, Maya heard real fear in his voice. Not of his family, but of losing her. "That's enough, isn't it?" Maya looked at him, at the man who'd kidnapped her, drugged her, manipulated her, broken her down and rebuilt her into something new. The man who'd become her weakness, her equal, her partner in every sense. "Yeah," she said softly. "It's enough." They disappeared that night. Left Seoul, left Korea, left everything behind. And for 6 weeks, they were free. Just 2 people running from their pasts, trying to build something new. Until Min-jun made a mistake. He contacted Ji-won to transfer money from a hidden account. And Ji-won, loyal to the family above all else, Trace the call. They came at dawn. Min-jun's family, 24 men, surrounding the safe house in Osaka, where they'd been hiding. Maya and Min-jun fought back, but they were outnumbered, outgunned. And in the chaos, Min-jun took a bullet meant for Maya. He went down hard, and Maya screamed, fired until her gun clicked empty, then grabbed Min-jun and dragged him inside. "Leave me," he gasped, blood pouring from his stomach. "Get out, run, survive. Shut up," Maya said, pressing her hands against the wound. "You don't get to die on me. Not after everything."
"I'm sorry," Min-jun whispered.
"For all of it. For kidnapping you, for breaking you, for making you into this. You didn't make me into anything I wasn't already," Maya interrupted. "You just showed me who I really was. And I'm not sorry for that. For us." She kissed him, tasted blood, felt him weakening. "I love you, you psychotic bastard. And you're not dying." But he was. She could see it in his eyes, feel it in the way his body was giving up. The family was breaking down the doors. Maya had seconds to decide. Save Min-jun and die with him, or leave him and survive alone. She chose. Maya grabbed every weapon she could carry and walked out to face Min-jun's family. She killed 4 men before they brought her down. Wounded, captured, dragged before Min-jun's father. "You've cost us millions," he said coldly. "Corrupted my son. Destroyed everything we built. Give me one reason not to kill you right now." "Because your son is still alive in there," Maya said through bloody teeth. "And if you want him to survive, you need my help. He's got shot. Has maybe an hour without medical attention. Kill me, and he dies too."
Min-jun's follows her, calculating.
"Save him, and what? You think I'll let you both live?" "I think you love your son more than you hate me," Maya said. "I think you want the Park family to continue, and Min-jun is your only heir. So here's the deal. I save him, and you let us both disappear. Fake our deaths. Tell the family we died here. Let us go, and you'll never see either of us again." After a long moment, Min-jun's father nodded. "Save him. Then you both become ghosts." Maya saved him, used field trauma training from her military days, stabilized him enough for transport, got him to a private surgeon the family kept on retainer.
Min-jun survived. Barely.
And true to his father's word, they became ghosts. The Park family held a funeral for both of them, told Seoul they died in the attack, and Maya and Min-jun disappeared into the wind. 6 months later, a bar in Auckland, New Zealand. Quiet. Coastal. Far from Korea and everything they'd left behind. Maya was tending bar, using a new name, a new face courtesy of plastic surgery. Living clean. Living quiet. Until the night a man walked in and sat at the bar. He was young, Korean, well-dressed. He ordered expensive whiskey and watched Maya with eyes that were too knowing. "You look familiar," he said. "Do I know you from somewhere?" "I don't think so," Maya replied calmly. "I'm new to Auckland." "Funny," the man said. "Because you look exactly like someone I used to know. Someone who died 6 months ago in Osaka." Maya's hand drifted to the knife under the bar. "You must have me confused with someone else." The man smiled, pulled out his phone, showed her a photo. It was Min-jun alive, standing in what looked like a basement room. He was chained to a wall, beaten, barely conscious. "Min-jun Park," the man said. "Or at least, what's left of him. His father lied to us. He's alive. You're alive. And I've been sent to bring you both home." Maya felt her world stop. "Where is he?" "Somewhere safe," the man said. "Somewhere you'll never find without my help. But here's the thing, I don't want to bring you home. I want to make a deal." "What kind of deal?" Maya asked. The man leaned forward. "I'm Park Jae-sung,
Min-jun's cousin.
And I've been running family operations for 6 months, while everyone thought the heir was dead. I'm good at it. Better than Min-jun ever was. But his father wants him back now, wants him to resume leadership. And I can't let that happen." "So you want me to kill him?" Maya said flatly. "I want you to replace him," Jae-sung corrected. "Come back to Seoul. Take over the Park Empire. You know the operations, the people, the business. With my support, you could lead the family. First female crime lord in Seoul history. It would be legendary." Maya stared at him. "And Min-jun stays where he is," Jae-sung said. "Alive but controlled. Your pet. Your prisoner. Your reminder of what happens when you let feelings compromise business. He wanted to own you once. Now you own him. Poetic, no." Maya should have killed Jae-sung right there. Should have refused, should have stayed in her quiet bar in Auckland and let the past stay buried. But she thought about Min-jun, chained in a basement, helpless, broken. The man who'd kidnapped her, manipulated her, made her into a monster. The man she'd somehow fallen in love with despite everything. And she made her choice. Take me to him, Maya said. Let me see that he's really alive. Then we'll talk about your deal. I knew you'd be interested. Follow me.
They flew to Seoul that night.
And Maya walked back into the nightmare she'd escaped, knowing she was making a deal with new devils. But this time, she was the one in control. This time, she'd be the monster they all feared. The basement where they kept Min-jun was in a building Maya didn't recognize. Jae-sung led her down concrete stairs, past guards who looked at her with suspicion but didn't interfere. He unlocked a heavy door, and there was Min-jun. He was alive. Barely. Chained to the wall, beaten, half-starved. But alive. His eyes widened when he saw her. Maya? His voice was hoarse, disbelieving. You're supposed to be dead. We both are. How? Jae-sung found me, Maya said, kneeling in front of him. Made me an offer. Min-jun looked past her to his cousin, understanding dawning. He wants you to take over. Wants me kept like this as insurance. Something like that, Maya said. She reached out, touched his face, felt him flinch. I should leave you here. After everything you did to me, everything you put me through. This is what you deserve, Min-jun. To be someone else's prisoner. Someone else's obsession. Do it, Min-jun whispered. Take the deal. Run the family. You be brilliant at it.
Better than me.
I know I would, Maya agreed. Then she stood, turned to Jae-sung. I'll take your deal. With one modification. What modification? Jae-sung asked. Maya pulled a gun she'd taken from one of the guards, shot Jae-sung in the head before he could react. She moved fast, taking out the two guards outside before they could sound an alarm. Then she was back, breaking Min-jun's chains, hauling him to his feet.
We're leaving, she said.
Both of us. Together. Maya, we can't, Min-jun gasped. The family, they'll hunt us forever. Let them try, Maya said. I'm done running. Done hiding. If they want us, they can come find us. But they'll learn what I learned these past 6 months. She looked at him, and Min-jun saw something new in her eyes. Something cold and certain and terrifying. I'm not your victim anymore, Min-jun. I'm not even your equal. I'm better than you. Stronger. More ruthless. You made me into this, and now you're going to watch what I do with it. They escaped that night. Killed 8 more Park family members on the way out. And disappeared again. But this time was different. This time, Maya wasn't running from the darkness. She was embracing it. And Min-jun, the man who'd wanted to own her, became exactly what Jae-sung had suggested. Her prisoner, her obsession, her proof that she'd become everything he'd tried to make her, and more. 1 year later.
Seoul.
The Park family had collapsed, torn apart by infighting after Jae-sung's death. Someone new controlled the operations now. Someone ruthless and efficient who'd systematically eliminated all opposition. The criminal underworld whispered her name with fear. The Reaper. She operated from shadows, identity unknown, except to those who'd been destroyed by her. And in a penthouse overlooking the city, Maya stood at the window, watching Seoul glitter in the darkness. Behind her, in the bedroom, Min-jun sat on the bed, watching her with the same obsessive hunger he'd always had. But now he wore a collar. Now he understood his place. You were right, Maya said without turning. About what I was. What I could become. You saw it before I did. She finally looked at him. Thank you for showing me. Is this what you wanted?
Min-jun asked.
To become what I am? No, Maya admitted. I wanted to stay innocent. Stay good. But you showed me that was never an option. So, I became something better. I became powerful. She walked to him, tilted his chin up. And you get to watch. Every day. Every deal. Every kill. You get to see the monster you created and know you'll never own it. Because it owns you now. Min-jun's eyes were full of twisted pride and resignation and that same sick love that had started this nightmare. I do love you, you know. Even like this. Maybe especially like this. I know, Maya said. She kissed him, gentle and cruel all at once. That's why I keep you. Not because I need to.
Because I want to.
Because you're mine now, Jae-jae. And I take care of what's mine. Her phone buzzed. New contract request. Big money for a political assassination. Maya smiled, answered it. As she spoke, confirming details, setting terms, she used the exact words Min-jun had used on her that first night. I don't ask questions. I just need to know the price. She'd become exactly what he'd wanted. And he'd become her greatest weakness and her greatest trophy all at once. The Reaper had arrived. And Seoul would never be the same. If you made it to the end of this dark, twisted story, I need you to do 3 things. First, drop a comment telling me if Maya won or lost by becoming this. Second, smash that like button if this story messed with your head. And third, subscribe because I've got more psychological thrillers coming that will keep you up at night. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the monster wins by creating another monster. See you in the next one.